Hi everyone, I just wanted to do a quick preamble to this video to explain to you that I've been quite poorly with this cold and it was taking an age for me to put this look on yesterday. So I've had to do a lot of editing and speeding up, or it would have competed with Gone with the Wind in length. Anyway, I hope it doesn't interfere with your viewing pleasure, and the other me is coming up now. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Jack wants to come and say hello. He's got his headphones on and he's playing with his friends online. Okay, say hello, Jack.
Hi.
Okay. Right. So today, I promised I'd show you how I do my brows with the Anastasia Beverly Hills. I haven't been very well. I want full coverage today. And there's a really quick and easy way to do that. So I'm going to do that. Because I'm going to go for quite bold brows, I also want to go for bold lips because I'm in the mood. I'm going to keep the eyes quite subtle. So, yeah. Now, again, because I'm going for full coverage, very full coverage, you will not find a fuller coverage foundation than the one I'm going to use. I am going to kind of compensate for that by putting the highlighter drops all over my face underneath. Don't worry, I'm going to look a little bit like the Tin Man. But by the time I'm finished, it won't look like that at all. So the first step is to actually dab your highlighter drops all over your face. I'm going to put this all over like so. And this is going to kind of compensate for the foundation, which is quite high coverage and quite flat. So I'm just going to blend that in with this big fat brush. Now, the foundation I'm about to use is one that a lot of makeup artists use as a concealer. And it's a foundation that is recommended for people with scars. It's very full coverage. Now, the reason I use it is not to make it that full coverage. It's called Estée Lauder Double Maximum Cover. Now, what I do with it is I put a tiny little bit onto the back of my hand, like so, probably about that much. That's probably too much, really. But then I take a big fluffy brush. And the good thing about this is when you're not feeling well, you don't want to mess about. It's just going to completely cover your complexion. And you don't really have to mess about with concealers and things either. And you're putting a thin layer of it. So you will see, if I put that there, it just basically covers everything. It's almost like a stage makeup, really. It's a very good concealer, and it's very good at covering birthmarks. So I'm not going to bother with concealer after this. What I might do is put a tiny little bit more under my eyes. I'm just going to dot this underneath, like so. It's the same foundation, everyone. Okay, now because obviously I'm going to look quite flat, I am going to contour, and I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. Again, very easy to use, and it's going to add some definition back to my face rather than it looking one flat colour. Oops. It does look a bit intimidating when you first go to put it on. I think I'll do it with my big brush at the side. And I'm sweeping up. Don't sweep down. And again in here, you're going to sweep up to your hairline. Now I'm going to switch to Charlotte's brush for the nose.
You can just use half of my name.
Probably put a bit too much at the top there. And then I'm going to use the highlighter wand. Now I'm not too worried if it does look a bit liney at the moment, because I'm going to show you in a minute how I can kind of even that out. I'm going to just put some highlighter on, and you can put powder over this, which is great because it's a liquid one. Down the front of my nose, a little bit up there, and a little bit there.
Where are you guys?
Okay, I'm just going to blend that in with my fingers.
Don't say that! I do not want to repeat it on my mom's channel.
The next thing we can do is, and this will make sure everything is evened out, is I'm going to use some coloured powder today. So it's basically Estée Lauder powder foundation, and I'm going to use that with I'm going to dab it on first with the sponge, and then I'm going to brush it off with a brush. Okay, so I'm going to concentrate specifically on the centre here. Now the reason I'm doing this today is because I really feel quite washed out, and so I want to have quite a good coverage that's going to last for the day. And I'm going to do this all over, because I can always add some more highlight back. But I want to make sure that that contour is evened out, and by putting a foundation a foundation powder on your face, then you will make sure that you've blended out that contour a little bit more. Right, there is something I've forgotten, so I'm going to be right back, and I'm just going to give that a quick brush off before I go and get what I need. So that will just take the excess off and make sure that that's blended in. And as you can see, because I've used that highlighter before the foundation, it hasn't gone really mattified. It's still left me with a bit of a glow. And I'm now going to move on to my brows, because I know that a few of you wanted a brow tutorial using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow pomade. So I use the shade Ebony, and you can see here it's quite a sort of gel-like quality. Now this will last you in quantities for years, but it does eventually dry out. You have to get a new one, not because you got to the bottom of the jar, but because it dries out. But it's still going fine for me after 2 years. Now what I do is I dip it in. There's a little bit of a clump there, so I'm just going to make sure I wipe that off at the edge there. And then what I do first of all is I use this end of my brush to brush up my eyebrow into shape. And then with my hand resting against the table, I'm going to do an outline around my brow and under my brow first of all. It looks a bit stark, but it won't do once I've finished. And then bringing it down. I'm not going to put a line round here because that bit really shows up. And then I take a little bit more, tiny bit more, and then I start stroking that brush in the direction of the hairs. Okay? So you follow the direction that your hair naturally grows in, doing short strokes until you've filled in the brown. I'm going quite strong today, so if you're going any lighter than this, you just got to keep an eye on the amount that you use. Now obviously that looks a bit stark, so I'm now going to brush it up, and if I get bits of brow pomade above or under from brushing it, I can go back in with a concealer. Okay, so now that I've done that and I've kind of softened it a little bit. I'm going to do the end of the brow here, and I'm just going to do tiny little hair-like strokes just to finish off. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do the other side. Again, I'm going to start by doing the line. Some people start on the lower line.
Ooh, I need that shield.
Everyone has different ways of doing it. But I'm just going to do
don't take it. Don't take it,
an outline here. And then underneath.
Oh, shoot.
I'm going quite carefully here because you can see it's thinned out. So I don't want it to look too stark.
Sorry.
Towards the centre.
I can't because I need them for my egg launcher.
And then I'm going down like that. And this brow ends a little bit too soon. So I'm just extending it a bit. And the reason that you know that... Jack, could you just... please. The reason that you know that is that if you take an eyebrow brush or anything and you put it there so that it's lined up with the bottom of your nose, then the tip will be there. That's where your brow starts. Then you turn it so that the brush goes through the centre of your pupil, and that's where your arch should be. And then you turn it again so it's still at the bottom of your nose, and that the brush is actually just at the edge of your eye, and that's where your brow should end. And mine ends about there, so that's why I extend it that little bit. Okay, I haven't filled this one in yet. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. So I'm going to brush it again, and then I'm going to work on that inner corner, which is actually, as you can see, is quite thinning there. And then just short strokes to make it look hair-like.
Who got the egg launcher?
And that's my brows done. Okay, so now I am going to move on to the eyes. Now, this eyeshadow palette that I got from MAC was quite a while ago, and it was a limited edition. So you can't probably get it now. But I'm going to show you it. That's the eyeshadow palette. Basically what you're looking for are neutrals. What I'm going to be using is these ones here to create a kind of very matte, smoky, subtle eye. I'm going to prime my lids with MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. Now I'm going to go in with the first shadow, which is this one, just to prime my lids. I didn't find this set hugely pigmented. In fact, I was a bit disappointed with it when I got it. But actually, it's great for a subtle look. And that's what I want, is a subtle, smoky eye. Sort of smoky and subtle at the same time. Sounds a bit like an oxymoron, but
okay, then.
I think I will be able to show you what I mean. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the grey, and I'm going to use this as a transition shade and then build up to this. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with a slightly smaller brush And then I'm going to take the brush that I just used for my transition shade and go over that and blend it. So I'm going to go underneath
As I said before,
with the lighter grey
yes,
shade.
I've used it.
And then take the darker shade and with the very tip just go right in as near to the lash as you can. I'm going to smudge that out a tiny bit with my black eyeshadow. Do a tight line as well to really accentuate the eyes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, white eyeliner. I know a lot of people use skin coloured these days, and I have a skin coloured one, but I just fancy using white to really make them pop. MAC Upward Lash.
Flame.
I'm going to bronze with Charlotte Tilbury's Bronze and Glow.
I'm gonna blow it up.
I want my highlighter wand,
Shoot.
highlighter brush I should say, and I'm going to
That's why you don't
highlight
shoot gasoline.
now I'm going to do what Charlotte says and leave the blusher till last.
Yeah, Jean.
Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a really bold red lip,
Oh, yeah.
which is what I'm in the mood for today. first of all,
In
I'm
DBS,
using
when
MAC
Goku is
Ruby Woo
transforming, full-powered
lipstick pencil.
mastered- Oh,
At the moment it's looking a bit pink because that's just gone on top of foundation, but it won't be in a minute. And now I'm using a lipstick which was also a special
climbing
edition,
the ladder.
but it's a dark red and it's one of the retro MAC lip colours. I will post one that's similar to it below. And then to finish off, I'm going to go in with my blusher, which is First Love by Charlotte Tilbury. And this one is quite a subtle blush, but it looks beautiful on. I don't want anything too bright now on my cheeks. So it's a swish.
1, 2, ready? No.
Do the other side with the swish. And then pop on the centre.
Ooh.
And that, my friends, is my look. I might tidy up this line around my lips and I will take an end photograph, and I'll see you soon. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Sorry if I seem a bit quieter than usual. I'm sure I'm soon going to get over this cold. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully I'm going to be doing another Follow Charlotte Tilbury tutorial. Take care. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.